What is going on, everybody? Special video today, as I will be unboxing, discussing, and showcasing an album that I have wanted to pick up on vinyl and add into my collection for a very long time. Many of you, I'm sure, know vinyl collecting can get pretty expensive, especially when there are only a limited number of records pressed in that initial run. They sell out super quick, and there's really nowhere else to pick one up besides eBay or Discogs. But luckily, today's album that I picked up is a repress of an album that has seen some pretty crazy prices since its original drop in 2011. And I'm talking, of course, about one of my favorite albums of all time, The Caretakers and Empty Bliss, Beyond This World. Ever since James Leland Kirby, aka The Caretaker, saw massive success with his Everywhere at the End of Time project, many of his previous physical releases that have been long sold out have soared in price. Thankfully, as of this video, James and Boomcat, the independent record label for which James has worked with multiple times to press many of his releases in physical form, they have decided to do full represses of all 6 stages of Everywhere at the End of Time, as well as most recently an Empty Bliss. So today, I want to take a look at this vinyl and just talk about it. I've recently put out my big deep dive video into The Caretaker and Everywhere at the End of Time, and that took like a year and a half to really make, from starting the script to finally rendering out the finished project file. So for this video, I thought, maybe let's take a step back, chill with y'all for a little bit, and just strictly talk about some good old vinyl. And like I said earlier, this is a record I've been wanting to have in my collection for a long time, and for a while there was no news from James nor Boomcat that there would be any more stock going up on the site for this release. So for a good while, I really contemplated just biting the bullet and maybe picking up one of his releases, not just this one, just any Kirby release. I really wanted to have something from James in my collection, and I mean, you head over to Discogs, like, the prices are just crazy. Just in case you don't know what Discogs is, it's an online marketplace where vinyl collectors, they can post their collections, and they can also sell and buy vinyl from other people out there on the internet. And due to virtually all of James Leland Kirby's or The Caretaker's vinyl selling out by the time I really got into Kirby and wanted to add some of his works to my collection, heading over to Discogs and seeing some of the prices I would have had to pay were pretty crushing, to say the least. I mean, let's just look at an Empty Bliss, for example. The original pressing, released in 2011, as of the making of this video, is selling on Discogs for a medium price just under $200. In 2013 and 2019, there were more represses of the album that still fetch a pretty high price, even though not as much as that original one, but still a little expensive. But I really didn't want to pay this, and I'm happy I waited, because a couple of months ago, Kirby announced that he would be doing full represses of Everywhere at the End of Time and other Caretaker releases. Who knew what it was going to be? Obviously, everybody just immediately thought an Empty Bliss. And yeah, that was, I think, the only one as of right now that he's announced besides Everywhere at the End of Time. So an Empty Bliss was one of those represses. And when the pre-release for this vinyl went up for sale, I was not missing out on this gem. I purchased that right away. As with many of Kirby's releases, an Empty Bliss features the artwork of Ivan Seal, and it's awesome to be able to own a couple of records from Kirby now that just feature the abstract compositions Seal has brought to life in such striking ways on vinyl. I always talk about records on this channel that are great display pieces in a record collection, and what better ones to showcase than these releases. And a big shout out to James too. He was kind enough to send me all 6 stages of Everywhere at the End of Time on vinyl back when I was making that big deep dive video. It was amazing to talk to the man himself while I was building the video, and he sent these over to me a while back so I can get some solid footage of them for the video. And just looking at it all now, to have 7 different Kirby vinyl records in my collection, it just looks awesome. The back of the vinyl artwork, similar to all 6 of the Everywhere at the End of Time vinyl releases, simply places the back of a canvas, no track list or credits or anything like that, and really makes these feel like genuine pieces of art directly sent from Ivan Seal to us. As for the vinyl itself, no crazy colors or splatter effects or anything like that. Another touch I think works really well with Kirby's releases as The Caretaker, But stage 2 actually comes on like this blue sort of transparent vinyl. That was the only one out of all those Caretaker records so far. I know an Empty Bliss once came on a gray or like a light gray vinyl. I think it was one of the earlier presses. But having it, you know, kind of standard like this, it really works with the way, you know, just those old records, and most of them are just that, you know, back in the 30s, you ain't getting no splatter, glitter, sand in the vinyl. I don't know, all the shit they do nowadays. It's pretty cool, but we weren't getting that back then. So, you know, it kind of sticks with that time period, and it's simple. It's really nice. The inner sticker features the album name as well as the track list for side A and side B in a script handwriting sort of font, all laid on top of a section of Ivan Seal's artwork in black and white. No crazy, you know, packaging, anything like that, but it's fine with me. You know, I think it's just, there's like this awesome energy of just holding, you know, some of Kirby's work in physical form, buying it directly from him and Boomcat, you know, and it's just special to finally have one of my favorite music releases of all time, an Empty Bliss, on vinyl. And as I stated earlier, he's hinted at even more future represses, which is also extremely exciting. I don't know what he's gonna do, but you know, I'm hoping we see releases like Eager to Tear Apart the Stars come back to life, for example. That's another favorite Kirby release of mine that isn't as expensive as an Empty Bliss on Discogs. I think you can scoop one up for like 50 or 60 bucks last time I checked, so not too bad. Or maybe even a vinyl release of Everywhere an Empty Bliss. That could be kind of cool too. Any Kirby release at this point on vinyl, I think is gonna sell out. It's a given. At this point, he's just, the Caretaker name with the internet and everything's blown up so much. I really think anything that he'll drop on vinyl is going to sell. It's a given, but take it from me, now that I'm running Catskill Records, it's easier said than done to just poof a vinyl release into existence. There's a huge delay going on right now in the vinyl world to put production orders in, and I know this was an issue for James during the production of these records, so seeing these finally complete and, you know, just having them in hand, everything worked out really well, and hopefully, you know, we see some more Kirby releases in the future on vinyl soon. As of right now, there is still a vinyl pre-order going on for another run of an Empty Bliss Beyond This World that is due for January 2022. So if you are interested in picking this up at a normal price, head on over to Boomcat to scoop one up. And just so you know, this video, it's not sponsored by Boomcat or Kirby or anything like that. I just love spreading the word on some great releases from great people and great labels. So head on over there if you're a Caretaker fan or just someone looking to add something cool to their record collection. Take it from me, this is one of my favorite albums, and just having this on vinyl, like I've said already in this video, it is very special, so definitely give it a look. I mentioned a couple weeks ago in a cassette video I did on the channel, but just to say it again, I do plan on doing a big, gigantic vinyl and cassette collection tour video in early 2022, so be on the lookout for that. We'll really venture through my entire music collection, what equipment I use, some fun stories about how I got certain releases and whatnot. I can't wait to make that one. It's gonna be a real long video, so be on the lookout. And also, let me know if you have any Kirby releases in physical form in the comments below, or just any records you've picked up recently. I would love to get a fun discussion going down in the comments, so hit me with what you got, and I will see you down there. Click here to check out my deep dive video into the Caretaker if you haven't seen that yet, or this video of an album I think you'll enjoy very much if you're into projects like an Empty Bliss Beyond This World or Everywhere at the End of Time. Thank you so much for watching today, and until next time, much love, your boy, Pad Chennington.